I am delighted to give a Circle of Excellence presentation at Nicholas, Brooklyn on the 20th of July 2024. This will be a captivating presentation of how to take command and direct your first business. Circle of Excellence Dreaming Building Experience. Immerse yourself in live music experience of Yadaki, the didgeridoo. Guided moving expression, unlocking, cultivating your internal power. You're open, bring your hearts and mind, you're ready to do some amazing work.
Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians, and this is Kim, Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi everyone, Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.balaa.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in this description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
Call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Crystals and pyramids. Success is your destiny.
Brother Abdul, you got to turn your sound on.
Oh, peace, everyone. Peace, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey on Magnetic Pyramid Crystals YouTube. Thank you, Ken, once again for this platform. We have a guest that you are very familiar with, Sister Pecola Lee Kusar Il. Sister Pecola, put your video on. So we have a wonderful topic. Before we get into that, you can go to get my books. Go to, as you see across the screen, mooresandmasonry.org, Moors and Masonry Part 1, and my other books. You can go right to mooresandmasonry.org. Also, the Moroccan Post School of Government International Law have free courses. We have paid courses as well, but we have free courses on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. All right, so we're going to get right into it. Today's topic is Woman Antiquity to Present, the powerful Moabitess Moroccan woman of America. So she's not a stranger to this platform. I present to you Sister Pecola Lee Kusar Il. You have the floor, Sister Pecola.
Greetings, everyone. Pecola Kusar Il, thank you for the platform. Thank you for having me. I'm trying to actually show my my outline, so it gives us an idea of the flow of today's show. It's nicer when you can see what I'm saying. So, Abdullah, if you would give me like maybe 2 minutes or so, just a couple minutes. I just want to pull that outline.
You know how to get on the screen, or what you trying to do? All right, you can just pull up the outline. I'll continue to talk. All right, so
thank you.
So I want to thank you all for joining us today, and it's important that we go back to the ancient matriarchal concepts and principles that are rooted in nature. The deities today, because of the patriarchal conquesting system, most people throughout the world worship, bow to, pray to a male image. When they say the name Jesus, Allah, Confucius, Buddha, Mithra, Dianthus, male images come to their mind. Male, as if the deities were males. How did that come about? So we're going to get insight tonight. How did that come about? These male images, because they're not deities. There's no male deities. There never were any male deities. Those are male images forced upon through conquest. So there's no male deities. So we got to go to how. So what etymology does for me in my studies, etymology deals with the history, origin, and true meaning of words. So it gives the original concept of how things were originally constructed. So we have to use the Sankofa bird principle. We have to go back and retrieve or fetch that which is ours and apply that ancient wisdom to the present. Now the Europeans have taken, so it's not a go back for the Europeans. All right, because it's not there, so it would be a going back for us. It'll be a returning. It's not a returning. The Europeans didn't return or go back. They've simply stolen and claiming our legacy. We have to go back. All right. So the principles are already being applied. The Europeans, yes, they bastardized it. They bastardized the ancient principles. But there's no culture that they develop. So you can't practice a European culture. It doesn't exist. You can't practice a European culture. Can't practice something that doesn't exist. It is our culture. They bastardize it, but it's our culture that they bastardize. All right, so you ready, Sister Picola? All right, so as
Just
we
about.
continue to raise up, going back, using the Sankofa principle, going back and fetching that which is ours, and applying that ancient wisdom to restore so that we can have a better present and future for our progeny, for the present generation as well as the future generation. We can't look forward. There's no looking forward. No. You don't look forward first. You have to look back. There's no looking forward first. That's the wrong concept. Let's look forward. No. Look back first. Then take that which is in fetch and you apply that to the present, and then you look forward after you bring that which is from the past. So after you look back. So, all right. So you ready, Sister Picola?
Yeah, I can proceed.
You can just read it. Don't have to worry about showing. Just read it. So we can get going. You have it? You ready?
I'm going to send it to you, brother, if you don't mind.
No, I can't. I don't know how to put it up. That's not going to help me. Yeah, I won't be able to access it.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So, let me go.
All right, you ready? Just read what you have.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, you have the floor.
Okay. So I spent time putting together a viable outline so that I would stay on point. But it seems as though it's giving me a little bit of a challenge here. So just a moment.
All right, so we continue and move forward, and once again, put out setting our minds to prepare to receive today's presentation, the great cosmic mother, and the wisdom that she has provided us. She is so wonderful and so great and so powerful, so that the concept of the she has to be embedded in our minds and expressed through our mouths. We've been doing the he. What does that do? I mean, this is throughout the world now. So you're looking at this collective consciousness now that's based in falsehood. This collective consciousness, he, came about through conquest, European conquest and domination. That's based in falsehood. It makes a huge difference because we're projecting a falsehood worldwide now. You're bowing worldwide now. This is worldwide. People throughout the world bowing to male images. That's worldwide. That's tremendous control because it's based in falsehood. Now if we're bowing to female images, it's because it's based in truth now. So it's not a problem bound to female images worldwide, because that'd be based in truth. But we're bound to a falsehood. So if we were saying she bound to female images, then that's, we can we can tap into the power. Ready, Sister Vacola?
Yeah, I'm gonna proceed with mainly memory, because it seems as though my whole outline is missing in action. So the very beginning of what I wanted to talk to you about, and excuse me if my eyes are diverted to my tablet. I'm just not quite giving up, because I had some really juicy information that's in here. The last time we spoke, remember, we covered, just to rehash a little bit, we covered the uh, rulership, or the authority of leadership with governance on the land known, that we call Morocco, for us conscious Moors, and for you who are not yet with knowing, not believing, but knowing that the land is Morocco. Some of you still call that America. And from time to time, you'll find it, I'll refer to it as America, just, almost out of habit, but also out of courtesy, until people can transition over to knowing that the land, and that would come with a considerable amount of research and study, like some of us have done. So the uh, document in particular is the Iroquois Haudenosaunee Confederation document, beginning around Article 40 or Article 44. It talks about the women are the progenitors and the owners of the land and the soil, and it goes all into the script. And I won't read that, but just for you, if you want to reference, that is the reference. And a lot of times I'll be speaking from references that I've read. So if you hear me speak on a certain thing and I don't mention source, then you can email me or get with a brother Abdullah, and I can tell you from which source I got that information. But in particular, the Iroquois Confederation, that particular document, gives you an idea of the so-called civilized, the tribes that were together on the land. The 1500s, there is a confederation. I can't find that information for you right now, but it was a confederation um, that talked about the collective governance of the land and how things were going to be happening. Apparently, there's a lot of activity on this land. Um, you can look at in the book Moors and Masonry, and you can actually see the Sultan and the Sultan, who was at that time governing the empire. You will see the Sultan, and you will see the European powers, or king and queens, or monarchs that were simultaneously governing. And also in that book, it will also be um, the treaties, the treaty relations, the peace relations, if you will. And so there was a significant amount of that information in the book. So it lets you know that there's a lot of dynamics on the land that we were never taught in the John D. Rockefeller education system, nor in the colleges. We would never know this information unless you sought out the additional areas to research, and you did so. So the 1500s, a confederation was formed, and then again it appears in the 1700s, around 1720s, another confederation on the land dealing with the leadership. So we have a lot of research that still has to be done to kind of connect things, but for the most part, we as declared Moors, we seeking governance of our land, our resources, um, reestablishing a government that's controlled by the indigenous people, we are researching, and we are finding more and more information. So don't let any platform of Moors speaking make any of you believe that they have the whole pie. They absolutely do not. Even my little slice, you know, thinner than a hair, I actually don't either. And the information can be overwhelming, you know, at best. So just to give you an idea that, yes, you know, we say the land was a marker, we stick by that. Yes, when we look at those documents, the Great Peace, we see that our Iroquois Confederation, the women had the rulership or acknowledgement. They were known as Reyeños. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it means nobles for all times. The men were known as the lords. The women also dealt with the Fire Council. And I'm just giving you bits and pieces, but giving you an idea in conjunction with the topic of matriarch and women antiquity. I'm going back just a little bit further here. I mean, just a little bit further back, but you know, my goal is to give you an idea of how far back the woman's role or her presence, her rulership, her guidance has been, and to where we are today, in particular of a male-dominated society globally, and a degradation of the woman in leadership, degradation of her in her status and role as mother, and you know where we as since we're talking about this land and governance and the role that the women have, the points of encouragement is for those women that may hear this message in particular, and for anyone. I mean, males, you know, Moabites, whoever is listening, I would encourage you to uh, inquire more, do independent reading, and also see what you can do as helping to uplift this society as a woman. Whether it's your skill set, whether it's home teaching, starting to try to homeschool children, or even just an after school program where, just for instance, I came across an article in the Bronx, for instance, the education. Just want to go to that point real quick. I don't know exactly the year. I believe it was in the late 50s, 60s, where New York, the Bronx in particular, had designated. I was in a paper, and it was designated as Educational Day for Children, in conjunction with the fact that we use Friday. Um, we we see that the Moors on the land at that time had deemed that time for children becoming educated and knowing culture. So I thought that was a beautiful thing. In fact, I shared that with a couple other Moors that are in New York, that, you know, let's start to become more conscious of what we can do for ourselves, educating our children. We know that the women tend to lead the way when it comes down to educating and nurturing and so forth and so on. And so
All right, so we'll wait till she gets back on. So once again, that is to set our minds so that we can come back into the ancient collective consciousness of women being the deities as it's rooted in nature, understanding the divine powered woman and her connection with the divine connection with nature. Example of that would be the moon. The moon revolves around the earth in 28 days, and that governs the 28-day menstrual cycle. The word menstruation means moon. The word month etymologically means moon. So there lies that women are indeed a walking lunar calendar. So there's 13 moon or lunar cycles in. So you have the 13, you have there's two calendars, there's 4 or 5 calendars, but 2 of them are the moon calendar and the solar calendar. So the moon calendar, these are 2 separate calendars, 2 separate calendar systems. So there's 13 months, 28 days in the lunar calendar. And you have your solar calendar, and then you have a calendar another calendar is created by blending both the moon and solar calendar. It was called a lunar solar calendar. But the lunar solar calendar is more modern because you look at 2 different calendar systems. So this understanding of this knowledge is ancient, and that divine connection that woman has with nature. So this understanding the power of woman, that divine power of woman, and that need to get back to that mindset so that we can restore the planet. We have to restore her. Our people, Moors classified, particularly Moors classified as Negro, colored, Black, African American, we're being controlled big time. We need conscious Moors to step up in consciousness as we facilitate this Moorish national temporary government, so that we can be a voice to our people in the international community. That is very much needed as Burkina Faso is rising up. Mali, Niger, Senegal will be joining Mali and Senegal, Burkina Faso and Niger. Eventually Nigeria will be joining. Eventually Kenya will be joining. So what are we going to do? We have to be truly ready, truly prepared. We have to bring about the change. We have to work so that moving towards recovering our lost Moorish sovereignty. All right, so we have Sister Wakola back. All right.
Gratitude. Seems like a little glitch in the system, but nevertheless, a nation is only as great as the mothers and children can only be great if the mother is great. So we have to revise Mother from the coma. Gratitude on Littlefoot coming up the rear. Exactly. So ironically, thank you for that. I did find my page back. I wish I could share it. I can't, but at least I can go a little smoother. And I was just, as I was snipped, I was actually talking about the significance of those constitutions, those confederacies that were put together way back. And it seemed a couple of things that stand out is that they all agreed that the woman would be in a certain station and place. They all agreed. And at that time, it was 5, maybe 6 of those tribes. So I just want again, we still have a lot of unanswered questions and unfound history. As you know, we're not in control of our own history or our old documents and research. We research only as much as we can, but there's a lot of hidden history of ours that will give validity and a continuity to us stating that this is Morocco and what we, the Moors, were doing on the land. We know from other documentation that Indians we know that these terms, Indian, Black, colored, Negro, these are terms that were given or tags placed upon us that we didn't agree to. So when we talk about recovery of lost sovereignty, we need to go back to identify our genuine connection to our ancestors that were governing this land. And so this is ongoing. In particular, the Moorish investigative team is put together to help with that cause, and that is identifying through documentation and so forth and so on how, when we present this case situation to any of those family of nations that will be listening to us, that we can actually prove it. It will not be based upon feelings or guesses. We know who we are. We stand by that. And that investigative team is going to be developed to come with a punch. And so back to what I was saying, we know that the mother, the station of the mother, the woman, she had a place in this land, in rulership, in leadership. And when I speak to you, the humble part of me wants to go around the corner and hide. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't necessarily share my feelings, my thoughts. I share the information, but then there's times that I may want to interject. And so part of this, part of the presentation is trying to, not be so emotional behind what the heck. My mother used to say, how does one go from sugar to shit? Figuratively speaking. Sorry, the semantics. How do you go from sugar to shit in no time? And it had to do with how did we in leadership and in a position in this land. Oh, Allah Akbar. Very sorry. I'm going to have to plug up my power so I don't lose you, so I don't get lost. But in fact, I'm going to take you. Somewhat going to take you
All
with
right,
me
so
and talk to
all right,
you.
you have it.
So
All right.
how does one, again, apologize for moving around on you, but I am talking and I am focused. How does the role of the woman change so tremendously um, from the stations of society to where we are today? And again, the topic is a glimpse. It is designed to give you a glimpse of the matriarch and where we were and where we're going. And again, the going part is encouraging the women in general to become conscious of what we're talking about and become active in what we're talking about. Oh, I found my charger, so sorry. So anyway, I just wanted to visit that again to give you a somewhat of a Moorish connection as I continue in my presentation here. Let me see if I got power. I got power. I'm back. Okay. So I'm back. Let me see if this is a cooperative. It's somewhat cooperative. Okay. I think I can deal with that. All right. So let me, and I hope I was clear. I hate to leave loose ends.
Your face is not part of your top part of your. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes when you breathe, things happen instantaneously. Part of being conscious of all things around you, 360 degrees. So I hope I was clear when I was trying to share. I'm going on a couple tangents, so bear with me. It's all relative and it all stems from source. So it's not really a tangent. It's only if you can keep up as a wise mind. So I just wanted to let you know that the women being encouraged from this point forward, and not even just from this point forward, just in general, because there's been so many other women that want to say something, they want to share, and some of them do, and some of them get shut down and shut out, and so all of this is all relative to how the relationship is with the more bias on the land. And when people say they want to raise the woman up, save the woman, so that humanity can be saved. Sometimes the challenge is it only lip service or is it real? because sometimes you must watch your own steps. So back on point, the Matriarch series, the intro. In memory of the alpha gene, that's Jean, and that's also Gene. And the power of the Morbitis, Moroccan, and Moors of America. And again, this is to give homage to the matriarch and to give a series of information through research and to become more active, and help raise up fallen humanity. And the humanity really starts on this land with us, and it's in general, because a lot of other nations still are dominated by the patriarch, but it certainly can start with us. So in memory of the alpha gene and the powerful Mobite Moroccan Moors of America, her story and his story as mandated, honoring Mata / mother, the alpha and the first genes of creation. I want to express that a little bit. And for those who haven't heard it, it'll be new to you. And for those who have heard it, maybe it'll touch your heart a little bit more. I'm not sure. So the alpha gene in my matriarch discussion, my dear mother, her name, Namen, was alpha gene. I laughed about it a little bit as I started getting into more science, the alpha gene. And I thought a little bit more like, wow, I wonder if that was really deliberate, that my grandfather, who named her, knew what he was saying, sending messages, meaning the alpha, the first of the alpha and omega, which I'm sure people have heard as they've read in the religious books, the King James Version of the Bible and so forth, maybe another text as well. But the first and the last, the alpha, the first. My mother was pregnant at age 12, and my mother, and I'm sure not by choice, at 12 years old, based upon the society, of course. My mother was married when she was 12, and my mother, Alpha Jean, was with child at age 12. The marriage license I kept in high school. Back in the 80s, I had the marriage license and my grandfather's signature and the signature of the other male for the husband. He was 20 years old and my mother was 12. My mother had a second child with age 13. Again, probably not by the choice of a young woman, a young girl at that time, but probably very much based upon the society. Again, we're going to go there again and make these points. So, as I said to you before, I share with you personal information so that it nails home a little bit. And so it's not meant to be embarrassing to any family members that may be listening to me and who knows me, because I'm speaking from the love, truth, peace, freedom, in justice perspective. So here's a young child, married with 2 children. My mother went on to have other children, and she had me at age 20, and I was her 5th child at age 20. My mother was born in 1945, and so her father also was born in 1896. So I've got some old school insight from many directions. So I just want to share that. And again, in memory, the intro to this matriarch series is a memory of the alpha gene. It's a memory of my mother, who's no longer with me. She took wings. She's always with me because I hear her in my ear when I want to say something or I want to do something, and it's like real intense. I do hear my mother. I hear her voice and I had to laugh to myself because I was like, okay, she must be in the ethers whispering to me to stay on point. So I want to pay homage to that, and I'm going to move to the definition. We'll do a little definition really quickly. Defined in sciences. No, I'm putting that out there because that's kind of the title that I have here. The first word is matriarch. Now, when I started, and I was a little stalled, to tell you the truth. I was a little stalled. I hope you can see that. This is an old book I got from the college that I used to go to in Dobbs Ferry, New York. It was tossed in a pile, and I came through one day, and this is when I was not Moorish conscious, but I was just a reader and appreciator of dictionaries and different things. And my grandfather had an old book collection, which I kept in his old cabinet. And so I had quite a collection, but it's all in ashes. But I picked up that book and I decided to go into this etymology book. I think the beginning of the year of that etymology book, it's this particular one is a fourth edition, came out in 1958, but the books preceding that came out in 1879. And so upon looking at the definition matriarch and seeing how it was described etymologically, the word was not found. They were not using the term matriarch, not according to that book from the 1800s. I thought that was really interesting. So then I went on to the next word, which is kind of right underneath it, and it was maternal. Defined as belonging to a mother. Third definition, mother. First, that was in line of defining the word mother, or etymologically describing it. A female parent. I'm going to stop right there for a second. And I'm going to start, my apologies to those who I'm not moving 100 miles an hour. Apologies. I just lay that on the fact that I came from the country. And so I still got some slowness about me. But I don't mind being slow because it helps me to comprehend better. And so I want to go back to the third definition of, underneath or describing mother, matriarch. And I noticed in the third definition, they have mother. But the first point of describing her is a female parent. I took notice to the phrase female parent. And the first thought, I will tell you, it was, wow, you can't even let mother be described as mother. You have to make her part and parcel of a parent. You have to make her the counterpart, a parent. And I said, wow, I in my eye, I see where that patriotism comes in, that patriarch comes in. I didn't think it needed to be there, but of course, that's just me. But I took notice to female partner as the first definition for mother. The second that I see is Middle English, and it goes up under the word mader and muder, M-O-O-D-E-R and M-O-D-E-R. And it also states questionable how it came to be mother. Dialectical influences, probably is what the document says, all defines from the root ma. Otra vez. What is happening here? Okay. I didn't see my phone charging, so I had a moment. Hey, this is going to be funny. This is really going to be funny when I go there. I want to. I have another definition. Which is quite interesting here. hopefully you can see me a little bit better. So up under mother, the first definition, female parent. The second, Middle English, moder, M-O-D-E-R, and M-O-O-D-E-R. And it says it's questionable from why it came to be, all attributed to mother, but it goes on to say it's all from the root of ma, M-A, but still an uncertain meaning. So that's actually what was actually placed there, an uncertain meaning. They were not sure. Again, I have to apologize for the fiddling. I'm very sorry, but my phone freaked me out. It wasn't charging, and I don't want to lose you. So
Islam, sister,
yes,
you can turn your phone
Yes.
sideways if you'd like, and it would be full screen so that
yeah.
we
I
could see your
tried to-
loveliness
Thank you.
turning it sideways versus upright. And it might be easier on the, lean it up against a stack of books or crystals or, yeah, that
Thank
looks
you.
great. That looks great.
Yeah. I'm sorry
Okay,
about that.
one
brother. I just
question,
didn't see my phone. Sorry.
One
Sure.
question, Brother Abdullah. You got folks that this conversation system, Bacola, this is hot because we're under the full moon energy right now. And after this show, Brother Abdullah, Sister Bacola, there's another show happening honoring the feminine principle. And I want to invite you, Bacola. I know it's short notice, but I want to invite you as a medicine mother because the younger generation of women think nothing happens from the neck down. They're not in touch with their wombs. They're not in touch with their femininity. And the medicine big sisters, this needs to be addressed. So there's going to be a forum of big sisters and young, old. And I want to thank you, Abdullah, for having Sister Bacola on a full moon cycle. So I'll come back later. I'm going backstage because I got to get me some tea.
All right. Peace to you. Thank you for that information. Thank you for the invite. I think I will be present. So just moving onward, looking at the second definition of mother in the book, and it defines mother as hysterical passion. Very first description of under mother, hysterical passion. I put a quote, I put quotation, or I put a bracket in my notes, and I put later for this meaning. And I checked myself to say, I don't want to
All right. So as she gets unfroze, Zen. All right. So this is an excellent presentation as we are restoring our minds to the great cosmic mother, the divine power of woman. All right. You back with us?
Here is long
All right.
peace. Yeah, I've been here. I don't know what's going on here on my end, but so I want to go up under. I know if you heard me, but one of the other definitions is dialectical. I'm sorry. One of the other definitions is hysterical.
All right. You frozen again. So this is, you might, as we thank y'all for joining us. This is,
Okay, bro. You got people wanting to ask questions.
yes.
I'm also going to place this. This show starts at 9 p.m., family, and I'm inviting Sister Bacola to be on. It's going to be a forum of sisters, full moon womb wisdom. So this is happening right here, Magnus Crystals Pyramids at 9 p.m. So I just want to give you acknowledgement, Brother Abdullah. You on that cosmic Shakti wave, man. You are definitely on point with this, the timing of this. So salutations from Magnus Crystals Pyramids. I'm going back.
All right, so it's on this platform, y'all. You're already on this platform. It'll be on this platform at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on this platform in an hour, 12 minutes. So I don't need to send a link out. You're already on the platform. All right. So Hank will be sending me the StreamYard so I can send to Bacola, but that's for so she can be on the platform. So we'll be on at 9 o'clock to support to support the entire show. But it's already at 9 an hour. Sister McCullough?
Okay, I'm here. I'm back, and I'm engaged. Hopefully, you heard the third definition is the sediment of drudge within wine. They call that mother. The other definition, and just a couple of more, is matricide. Matricide. It says C. Blunt's gloss, GLOSS, 1674. The murder of one's mother. Mother killing. It's Latin from matricida, a murder of one's mother. So I thought that was very interesting. I was not looking for that word. It happened to be within the flow of mother. And I wanted to just know, I know what a mother is, but I want to know from how it was explained. And I found that very interesting. And so the first thing that comes to mind is that you've done what's called matricide, matricida. You've killed the motherland for the Moors. You've taken the life, although there is hope with the Shem Malachi Bay plan, because they say that mother is not dead. Mother is on a respirator. She's in a coma. So maybe I won't use that word as often, but I will start using that word. And when I use the word matricida, it has to do with the matriarch energy that's being killed.
All right, so this is popping, y'all. This is popping. And that because that invoked thought in me about how when Pecola was analyzing the entry level meanings for the word matriarch, and then how one of the definitions that's given in an entry is a mother, parent, a female parent. So what Pecola was directing our attention to is that the original concept of matriarch is not listed in one of the entries. And so that was something that Pecola picked up. And so she, I'm like, oh, he has a point there. She has a point when Pecola, and this is what I'm talking about, analyzing, critical thinking. Just critical thinking. So since Pecola,
Islam Brother Abdullah, I just wanted to say real quick, those of you who want to join the forum, the StreamYard link is in the comments. So that if you have a question, because Abdullah, this is a hot show.
All right, so he got the StreamYard link StreamYard is in the comment section. All right, I did get the link, Hank, the StreamYard link. So, Sister Pecola, I was addressing the fact that you use critical thinking and analysis as you were reading the various entries for the word matriarch, and you pointed at the fact that one of the entry level meanings was a female parent. And so what you were actually guiding us to is that the original application of matriarch is not in one of the entries. So they're constructing because they're taking so they did not direct. So if you look at articles, and Sister Pecola did this, articles 44 to 54, I believe, 44 to 54 in the Haudenosaunee Iroquois Constitution, that gives you the original application of matriarch or maternal. Let's say was it maternal? Was that word maternal, right? Pecola was maternal.
Yeah,
Changing to mother, maternal.
Yes. Belonging to mother.
All right, belonging to the mother. Yes. So,
yeah.
That is so look at that. So you have the floor.
All right. I'm so sorry the airways are doing what they're doing, but going on to the next vocabulary word that I thought was necessary to begin this with. Okay, now this is the one that's got me also. Along the next definition, I saw matrimony. Again, that's another place that just seems like it sits with me weird, like that you're using matri, which is a stem from the word mater, Mater, meaning a mother. So you go to use the word matrimony in a sense of how we understand it today is the coming together of two people. Now, I didn't look that up. I'm just going according to my memory. I could be wrong, but I'm going to stick what I said. Matrimony. It is the union of two people. It still falls in that category of a female parent. It means that I have to share with you this. And coming from the point of the male dominating society, and there's documentary evidence to show the role of the woman in society and leadership in government, in consorting politicians, um, uh, you know, tribal chiefs, wars. The role of the woman was very significant and high regard. And so, again, I'm speaking to you in all honesty of what my research is. Do I feel a certain way? I don't have to share what I feel or don't feel. I'm just giving you the information. And if it strikes you, almost like a hammer on the head, just stoop low. So I go into the word matrimony, and it just seemed like it shouldn't have been defined as that matrimony, but it's still based upon the woman. It's based upon the meaning of a woman or the origin of the prefix for a woman, but yet it's in our timeline, it's a shared agreement kind of thing. So I thought it was really weird and odd. I go down to the next word, which is matrix. These are all sequential in the book that I have. Matrix, the womb, a cavity in which anything is formed. It stems from mater, Mater. Now the next word is matter, defined as the material part of a thing and substance. The material part of a thing and the substance. Matter. And in science, matter is anything that's solid, liquid, gas. Matter, hold volume, has place. So now we're moving to another word that I included in this, and just to have a brief discussion, is Muslim. Muslim, definition from this book, Musulman or Mohammedan. The adjective Mohammedan, Mahomedan, in parentheses, Arab. Defined as a true believer in Mohammedan faith. Now, I hear Moors say Muslims are born, not made. Everybody's a Muslim. And it always perked my curiosity, like, why do they say that? Muslims are born. And I actually took what is known as Spanish or Latin or Moorish Latin. We call it different things now in high school. And I remember the definition for defining muscle is muslo. And it started to make me think a little bit. So I basically have here point of discussion. Various sounds and meanings associated with one, muscle, defined as a fleshy part of a body, and Muslim, Musclum. It's an old way of I guess that they spelt it. And muscle. Two, musil, defined as a shellfish, but borrowed from the earlier times, meaning musil, meaning muscle. I went further by looking and found that the strongest muscle in the woman's body is the strongest muscle in the woman's body by weight is the uterus. And I'll carry this back around to what I'm getting at. Again, Moors are born, not made. So I'll go further into the buttocks is the largest muscle, or the strongest muscle, the woman uterus. The largest muscle is butt. My question is, could the Moors be mixing, we are all Muslims? Could they be mixing that with musulo by birth? Because it all comes from the womb. The circular muscle, thus the term Muslim, and everybody is born as a Muslim. So I just throw that out there, just food for thought. The last definition that last word that I decided to hit was mater, from Latin. mater means mother, which means physical substance, is a distant ancestor to the word matter. Matter evolves into matir. It is from mother, from which we all are made. Material world, material things, it has its origin. And so I find that the origin of old things is mother. Chaz from Harlem, trying to get in to crystal pyramids. Maybe you can accommodate the brother, Abdullah. So devote the message to matter. All right. The power that matters, the powers that matters, is relevant and real. Again, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, just giving a refresher, at least a paraphrase, is that the condition of a society depends on the condition of the mother. So I don't know what's happening here. So I would encourage, again, women that are listening, again, this is one of a few series that may be going on. Encourage women to get into leadership, get into your nationality, find out what you can do, help create, create good ideas, create, if you're not one who's got a strong stomach for politics, then come as a mother and create for your community, as an extended family. Communicate with the community. So moving on, a glimpse of woman. I like that term. When I first came up with the term woman, I could have easily said women. It didn't feel right. What felt right was woman, meaning I consciously aligned with one. Now, I know it's like millions of us, but for whatever reason, when I came up with a term, it would stick to that. Who cares that it may not grammatically be correct? Stick with that. So that's why I have it, a glimpse of woman in antiquity. That is the beginning of the title and of a series. And let me add that the beautiful people from my home state, Michigan, are going to be hosting Brother Abdullah El Talib Mosley Bey and myself, Pico Lili Kusar Il, to come to Michigan and to discuss political unity, share information, and have some bonding. So I look forward to that trip. That will be this coming Saturday and Sunday. And they're going to, on Friday, they're going to be having, a community event. The brother will be there sharing knowledge. He's got several books that will be available. So if you're in Michigan, from Michigan, and you happen to be in the great Detroit area and want to come across and talk to Brother Bay or myself, then you're welcome to come, and we're going to have some unity. So I'm going to go at this point into the symbols. I got a couple of things on my mind, so I'm talking very fast, and I know that I might be close to time, so forgive me. But I want to delve into the book, which I covered a little bit of it before, but
With us? Oh,
though
I
my
see.
book is a little bit,
Oh,
Mama's on it, brother. Mama's on it, son. Mama's on it. Okay, Mama's on it. So this book right here, if you can see it, it's the Sibyls, the first prophetess of Mamiwata. And it goes into saying the theft of African prophecy by the Catholic Church. So African women are the only ones, and this quote coming from the book, and I thought this was pretty profound. The series is to cover, we're going to go places with this. I just wanted to start in a couple of other areas that I didn't talk about before, and I'll get down deep, but I just wanted to, on the superficial, touch on some things here. The Sibyls, the first prophetess of Mamiwata. It says the African women are the only women in the world whose ancient mothers were not born under the yoke of patriarchy. I'm going to say it again. African women are the only women in the world whose ancient mothers were not born under the yoke of the patriarchy. I want to say the papacy so bad, it's probably one and the same, but the patriarchy. During ancient times, for the first 6,000 years, Africa was ruled by a powerful order of matriarchs. What is now currently the Holy Seat of the Vatican in Italy was originally the sacerdotal seat of these ancient Sibyl queen mothers. Now, I'm going to just throw a little something in there. I met a bishop, a female bishop in Harlem through a source. She knew I was active in a lot of Moorish activities. She wanted to honor me in a Mother's Day parade a couple years ago. And I thought it was odd, and I really was not going to say yes, because I felt like she doesn't know me. She knows my works. She knows my works. She knows how active I've been advocating the land is Morocco, advocating nationality, birthright, advocating. She knows of that. So she wanted to honor me. Her name is Queen Mother Bishop Pitts. She hails from the Yucatan Peninsula, South America. And in her village, she says there is a Moorish village. And of course, to give the invitation for some of us. So she dubbed us Queen Daughters. So it was a group of women that are recognized by a female bishop as Queen Daughters. At first, I thought it was too heavy a title for myself. And so I kind of, in my mind, kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. I want to say, not of my position as a woman and active in the community, but when it comes down to women and how modest we are, and I'm one of those, that's one of my personas, if you will, is, like, somebody's like, you look beautiful today. Look at your stuff. And it's like, oh, this whole thing. And it's like, I want to say that some of this personal inner being is tampered with. That you can't just say, why, thank you. Just thank you. I had to teach myself through other people saying, girl, you do look good. Just say you like it. Just say thank you. You don't know what to say. Don't be feeling all modest. It took a strong woman to be in my ear to tell me, be encouraged. We don't know that we're moving past those male energies that have subdued the woman. We don't know that. I'm going to get to some of that because I got some of that in some of these books here. And it's by grace that I didn't find it. But I found it the other day and I had to close the book because it hurt me. And what I came across was quotes in one of the books that I have of how the men were taught to beat the women. The women were in society at a particular time in society. The women were in charge all over the planet, all over. And it talks about how the men would get together and how they were feeling some kind of way because the woman was in charge. Well, we're stronger, we're mightier, we fight the wars. And I was reading the article, I was reading the passage, and it was one male that was talking to another male about, you're weak, you're letting your woman rule you, beat her. And so collectively, they were talking about subduing the woman in society at that time. So I want to find that for you. I will dig for that. So at the next time, that there is a next time, that I can find it and I can quote it and I can tell you the author and I can tell you the source. But this is the mentality of what has been perpetuated over the course of time. Now, this is definitely not during the timeline of the Sibyls. This timeline of what I'm saying that I came across was, and I can't quote centuries because I'm bad with that, and will get better. I promise you, I will get better. But this particular timeline, I want to say, I don't know, 1500, 1400s, 1500, somewhere. But they were talking amongst themselves, conspiring against the authorities, against the authority of the seat of the woman. They despised it. In fact, let me do something. If I can find it. If I can find it. I marked it so I could find it.
That's the Great Cosmic Mother book, rediscovering the religion of the earth. Yes, the
Yes.
Great Cosmic Mother, rediscovering the religion of the earth.
Let me see if I can find this. I want to. This was
Yes, so we have.
Oh,
All right.
matter of fact, I'm going to
Greetings,
go
family.
here.
From we got London.
I'm going here.
All right.
Okay. I'm not
What's
going
the title of the book? What's the title of the book? Read it. I can't see it. Read the
The
title.
title of the book is The History of the Moorish Empire in Europe, Volume 3. It's a scholar's
Oh
selection.
yeah.
It's by Samuel Parsons Scott.
Yeah, it's one of my. Oh yes.
So moving on, I want to give you an idea.
Those are I highly recommend those books. The History of the Moorish Empire in Europe, volumes 1, 2, and 3. The Great Cosmic Mother, rediscovering the religion of the earth. Also, When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone, and the Matiwata. Pecola has all those books. Those are highly recommended books. Highly recommended books for yours
I
truly.
want to. I want to. I
And
want
I've
to
read
go.
all of them except the Matiwata. I didn't even was not even wear that book until 3-4 months ago when Pecola presented it on
I want
this
to go
platform.
somewhere in particular. All right. So I want to go somewhere in particular. Although I may seem to be going back and forth, I want to collectively put this information out there, and then of course we can examine it at another time in detail if you fair. I just want to um, mention some very important things. On that note of subduing. I didn't want to dive into it because I got a list that I want to
You got
I
to
want to
show you. You got to show your face.
I want to
All right, there we go.
I just want to read something, and this is just giving you a glimpse. As I mentioned, there's another book, and it describes how the men were told, telling one another how to subdue the women. And again, all of this is a precursor to where we are today in society, to where we are today from the role, the station, the status that the woman had as creator. Now, the last series I spoke to you about Terrence Howard and how he, he's making a wave and a splash based upon his theories and so forth, discovering the flower of life. I want to say the tree of life so bad, the flower of life, the origin of things. In fact, what he said before is that in the spaces within the flower of life, he found that it's the essence of God in the spaces of the flower of life. So that flower of life presents itself in a lemon if you cut it, or that sacred geometric shape. And so he said this before in an interview that in the space of the flower is the source of God and creation. Interesting, when he said that, I went off in my head to remember that the viscus of Pisces actually looks like the geometrical shape of the of the vagina. Sorry about that. Like, I'm so shy. I'm so sorry. That is the shape of the vagina. So I thought that was remarkably close to what he's saying is the essence of God, which you hear Moors will say, well, in the Nation of Islam, they teach that the woman is God, and and all these other organizations. So, and they may not even be coming from anything except for just, sharing verbiage one to another or sharing what somebody said it was. But we're talking about a little bit of a scientific approach to this, or a scientific identification or analysis that the flower of life in the shape of the spaces in between all the lines, the curves, is the essence of God. And I thought remarkably, and I mentioned that before, that he says that this is the Constitution. And I thought that, wow, he's speaking of it from a scientific perspective, that this Constitution, and as we think of Constitution, we think of in science, if you will, and I'm not no scientist, not according to them. But when we think about Constitution, we think of constituents that are put together, constitute, meaning the coming together of various things to create that, in our case, the Constitution. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. The Constitution, which Brother Abdullah likes to teach. And like we know, it is not the Moorish document, the Constitution. So, not trying to be funny, but just kind of throwing that over there to say that Terrence Howard talks about that it is the Constitution, meaning it is the origin, it is the putting together of something from the spaces within the flower of life, and those spaces happen to be in the sacred geometrical shape of the woman's vagina. So I just want to bring that out there. And so, moving right along, I'm coming from the book to mention some things, and that is, how can the woman go from, almost the essence. In fact, let me drop this really quickly. Terrence Howard did another interview just the other day, and I heard him say, he was being asked, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Now, that happened to be something that's near and dear to my heart, because I always say that chicken or the egg kind of thing, and I say it in the way of meaning it don't matter. It don't matter. It's present. So interesting enough, who came first, the chicken or the egg? He says neither. It really is the geometric shape that makes it chicken or egg. Above the chicken and the egg is the geometric shape, the sacred geometry behind the universe that makes and puts things together, the matter, the substance. I thought that was really, really interesting. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there because I was talking about him. I admire high thinkers, not that I am that high, but I can internally appreciate how these brothers are moving forward in knowledge. I really respect that. I respect the males, the men, the Moors. As I tell people all the time, I've got a father, a brother, uncles, ex-husbands, and friends. And so, I respect the role of men and know that we as a family and we as partners, we're coming from a damaged system. So we all come as somewhat damaged goods. And it is incumbent upon each of you to find the finer side of you. See, if you were in the temples, those, they call them, what do we call them, institutions, if you will, it comes with an emphasis of being morally strapped. So moral conviction, you would have to have something as a guide to know that. It should be instinctive, but sometimes because of the society, it doesn't connect with some people, the moral factor. But if you were in the Moorish Science Temple of America, or if you were in some of the other religious institutions, they would give you some of the rundown of the golden rule, or don't covet thy neighbor. They would give you, or if you were studying up under, which that's stolen knowledge, as you know, was coming out of the temples, it would be, know thyself. In Islam, it's called know your higher self and lower self. And the devil is no spooky somebody. It is you. Whenever you look, and it's special. Whenever you look in the mirror, it is you. It is you. It always has been you. And it's like demons that you have to combat with. So know thyself is important. So I say that, yes, a lot is going on in the society. Unity is what we need. Moving past the obstacles of what placed us here, but knowing that our forefathers themselves were in some form of a demise is the reason we're here today. So we do have to look back to see what's going on, but it'll also have to stay present. And when somebody presently speaks to you, it gives you that wisdom, whether it's from a seer, and I'm always connected. I'm always connected. Hear it again. I'm always connected to divinity. Just because I don't say something to you in your ear. And as a source, I can tell you I'm always connected. And I always get the wisdom, either through somebody else. But the bottom line is to check yourself. Check yourself so that you be an intricate, whole person when we talk about political unity. Someone said, well, how am I supposed to go to the table in political unity and I don't like that person? Or that person got morals that's just junk. How do I come together? And I sat back listening to the person like saying, these are facts. Because not all of us move the same. Everybody knows that proverbial story of the race with the tortoise and the hare. The hare moves like the hare moves. The tortoise moves like the tortoise moves. So the bottom line is that know yourself, check yourself, and find your proof to be unified. Because if you're not in a place where you can truly be unified, don't talk unity. Sit yourself down. I've done it to myself, and I found that I had thinking that wasn't right, and I was confused. So what I did is I identified myself would be in the point of confusion and set myself down. Instead of saying it was somebody else, I just set myself down to self-correct. So anyway, on that note, we're going to keep flowing. So saying to you that we have issues amongst ourselves as a nation of people and as genders, we have issues. We have issues that came before this generation. We have interfering issues currently. And if we were to move forward in unity, and the favorite line of Prophet Noble Ali, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, Moors need to love and not hate. You have to delve into that. There's a lot of secrets within that. It's not just, oh, I got to love, not hate. No, no, no. Slow yourself down. My mother used to say, a famous line that my mother used to say, Alpha gene, the first gene. She used to say, peace, be still. Be at peace, be still so the messages can come to you. If you can't think from your own and you haven't learned from what's around you, you ain't got no mentors, be still. Maybe you'll get some downloads. So I want to go into this really quickly. And I got to take my goggles off. Sorry about this. These are just segments of what I found. And again, I'm just giving you glimpses of things. But it'll be more forward down the road. I'm reading from the book again, The History of the Moorish Empire in Europe, Volume 3, Scholars Edition, Samuel Parson. I'm going to give props to Brother Malik Bey out of Brooklyn, my first bona fide teacher of more science, but also who recommended a lot of the books in which I have. The brother left an impression. So thank you so much. So I'm going to read this, and it's reflecting on women and the roles of the women. Under the Spanish Arabs, women enjoyed privileges from which they were rigidly excluded in other Mohammedan countries. They appeared everywhere unveiled. As mentioned in the previous chapter, public opinion not only permitted, but openly encouraged their participation in the national and provisional contests for the palm of literary excellence. The rare educational faculties of the caliphate, were at their disposal. Some even became, I'm skipping, but just very on point, some even became the political advisors of great sovereigns. Mohammedan Spain presents the only instant in ancient or modern history. Now, you know that's not true. Exactly. Because in ancient time, the civils were in place. I'm going to go back there too. Mohammedan Spain presents the only instant in ancient or modern history of a country under whose laws and customs women did not exist in a state of tutelage. I happened to be looking up that word the other week, so that means up under some training or guidance or teaching, some advanced teachings. The quality of infant or chattel has, to a greater or less extent, always seemed inseparable from her condition. It goes on to say, amongst races highest in the scale of civilization, her inferiority appeared the more striking, partly from actual legal disabilities, partly from contrast. It is true that amongst the Greeks, when Athens was at the summit of her known, there were females of polished education, of extensive knowledge, gifted with talents of the highest order, able to cope in every intellectual exercise with the most distinguished scholars, philosophers, and statesmen. But these were few in numbers and belonged to the class which modern prejudice. Let me read that one again, because that's one of the reasons I found this, because I saw how it was a limited amount of women, number one. Number two, how it's ever so limited, but also less inclusive, meaning boys. But these were few in numbers and belonged to a class which modern prejudice has branded as infamous. The Athenian wife of the time of Pericles was little better than a slave. I've got one other part. And in despite of the distinguished consideration they envisioned for women, the Muslims of Spain were unable to divest themselves of the prejudice regarding the fickleness of the sex, which from immortal antiquity had been accepted as one of its prominent characteristics. Saying that for as long as they can remember, women were being prejudiced. But I'm going to tell you again from the other books, women had a station and a place. Not that from the questionable, we don't know how you got here, who came first, chicken or the egg, or how did the women get here? How did the woman get here? To be able to be the vessel by which every human being comes to this planet, to this earth plane, it's still a mystery. So she's dropped, and which is along the topic of what I had today, and that is encouraging the women to step up to their power, encouraging the women to know that you have, as a gender, you've had such a vast journey, and it's time for us to wake up and take our place. In this country in particular, in this land of Morocco, the documents that we have seen or able to see, they show that the women were in charge. And I'm sure not in charge to do any extra ruling over anybody, but most women, we are in balance. We want harmony, we want peace. We're nurturers by nature. Not that we ain't willing to rule by, there are some, I'm sure there have been some in history we really don't know about. But when it comes down to what we need to do to help put the family together, this is a time for us to come together with strength, not to come together to fight the men, because who wants to battle? Nobody wants bloodshed. Nobody wants to battle. We want to be in our place so that you're able to be in your place. In spite of the distinguished consideration they envisioned for women, the Muslims of Spain were unable to divest themselves of the prejudice regarding the fickleness of the sex, which from immemorial and antiquity had been accepted as one of its prominent characteristics. So they're saying for a long time, women had always been subdued, as far as this author is concerned, that his memory or his findings were. But again, this book is the Moorish Empire in Spain, the civil or pre-Greek time. So, and I want to show some other stuff really quickly with that. The position she occupied in social polity was fabulous. Her features were exposed to the public's gaze, very much like it is today. Women have a natural beauty. We all come in different shapes and sizes. So beauty we are. However, that is not what defines us in our totality. However, because of how society has degraded her place, her station, her leadership, it leaves it to looking in the streets today, and you see nakedness, you see mass sexuality, you see the selling of the body, because that is a degradation of a society when you have to only use, what they say, shake what your mama gave you kind of stuff. That is not from the nature of the woman to be exploited. And this is part of the exploitation. And again, it goes right back into who's ruling the society, who's governing with the iron fist. This is what you see. You see women, young girls who have not developed. So if they themselves are not developed, they cannot create, a whole being, a balanced child, a boy, a girl, to come into society and be productive. This is just a degradation. And on top of that, you have conquest and colonization. So again, Somebody can place you somewhere. They can put you there. But that don't mean that you have to stay there. It means you have to elevate in your thinking and elevate in your thought. In Islam, they say that it restores a decency to a society, the study of Islam. I'm just saying what they say. Her features were exposed to the public gaze. She was permitted to attend the lectures of the university. She participated in academical exhibitions, but the liberty she enjoyed was only apparent. Her steps were constantly guarded by, I don't know this word, I think it's called yunchins. And I have to go in the definition. I'm very sorry. Anybody out there that want to put the definition, thank you so much for listening. And
Spell the word so that people can.
excuse me, EUNUCHS. EU Echo Uniform November Uniform Charlie Hotel
I think
Sierra.
that's eunuch.
So her steps were constantly guarded by eunuch. Her lord was not less suspicious than his oriental brethren. And she, if the literature of the time is to be credited, probably for fear of disappointing him, not infrequently gave abundant cause for jealousy. This is out of the book, The History of the Moorish Empire. So I wanted to touch on that, and I want to cover something really quickly, as my notes seem to be fluttered. Now, this is just going back to the book, the First Prophetess, and this is a quote that I got. It says, Justin. Now, I guess that is some, I didn't look up Justin because it's really hard to do unless somebody knows philosophy. You know, if you say Plato, the one namers, you know, or Michael, you know, or Cher, if you say the one namers, you know, you can know that. But I'm not astute in philosophies and so forth like that. So I can't pinpoint who Justin is, Justin. But it says, quote, Justin tells the Greeks that they may find the true religion in ancient Babylon. In ancient Babylonian Sibyl, who came to Cuma, C-U-M-A. That's a region, a city, or so forth. And there gave her oracles, which Plato admired as divine. It goes on to say that Clemens Romanus also quoted the Sibyls in his epistle to the Corinthians. Theophilus, Antiquity, also. These are a whole list of names of people from antiquity that use the Sibyls information. And it turned up in the Bible. So I'm going to go back really quickly here. And what is now currently the Holy Seat of the Vatican in Italy was originally the sacerdotal seat of these ancient Sibyl queen mothers. Centuries before Christ, meaning the modern term Christ, the modern usage of it, the connotative usage of Christ, they were known to heal the sick, restore dignity and strength to the weak. Sounds like a nurturer to me. And restore sight to the blind, cast out demons, and raise the dead. Their prophecies are the oldest and most authentic in the world. Those prophecies were the basis of Greek and Roman tragedies and plays. Ironic, right? Their books were later collected by Roman authorities who needed a Western theological foundation in order to compete with the Levitical Jews. These Sibyl's prophecies became the sole and undisputed precursor to the Western Christian Bible. So there's more
Nicole,
information.
it's 8:39 now. I think we'll go for another 5 minutes, Hank, so that we can make that transition. So
No
that you can,
problem.
because you're going to get on at 9 o'clock. All right, so we'll go for another
Y'all
five
good till
minutes.
let's say 8:50. So you got another 10 minutes.
8:50. So we got 10 minutes.
Oh,
We'll go for 10 minutes. All right.
beautiful. So let me see if I can find something that was really important here. And it was in my reading that I actually found that there's societies that have temples, or there's societies that are not like in main societies, that the entrance of their cities is the vagina and the legs of the woman entering into the city. Figure that. Societies. And it's in many
Also,
places.
doorways. Or entering into a building, and windows.
And the subway system of New York.
What was that? Please expound.
You
Hank.
said hey Hank, you said the subway system in New York.
You got to go down before you get around.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, I vow to make sure that I get the hang of a post, and I think, brother, in the future, if you would send me the email, I may be able to get the link, and therefore, be able to maneuver and be able to show my page a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
send it. I'll email it to you as soon as
so,
we end.
so is there? Let me just, as I'm thinking, I want to be able to put it out there. Is there any questions that anyone has that may be listening, that you want to ask? Um, is there any information you want to share that may be open to anybody at this point? Well, if they feel in their minds to share anything in the chat
Related to the topic, y'all.
related to
Related
the
to the
topic.
topic.
Related to the topic. And speaking,
Yes.
at which time, as you're waiting, I'm going to give you the Great Cosmic Mother is the title of the book. As anybody is listening, and I'm trying to show it without bobbing all over the place. Here is a picture of one of the statues, the one that's here. And this one is a Sheila Niga from Kilpeck, England, Church of St. Mary and St. David. And it says, the reason pagan religion survived through at least thousands of years of Christian rule in Europe, which that seems exaggerated. Powers rested in the countryside because the people in the country were not easily converted, is what they're basically saying. And so that's why you'll find some of the buildings and so forth is still honoring. The whole point of this is honoring the woman. Like who places a entry of a door or anything as a personal place like the vagina, as we've learned to, that is not exactly topic for conversation, but the role of the woman, the significance of her, honoring her in every aspect, honoring her, honoring how you get here, honoring, like the brother was talking about earlier, they've bastardized the meaning behind the fertility of the woman, whether it's in the symbolisms of the scimitar sword, above the Morbitus's head, or, the horned goat, or bastardized the fact that she has menses, which is her own biological clock, which is connected to the moon. So this is just giving very loose information, but very documented information on the role that the woman played in society, her importance. And we can all, look at the scheme of things of how does she get from being the gateway, being the gateway here. How does she go from being the gateway, which is a high, high, high honor, of having that as your vessel with coming here into this avatar? How is it that she went from that to at the level of where the Sibyls were, which is they're regarded as the seers. The Sibyls were considered the seers, divining. They were the ones that the statesmen and different people went to because the role, and they honored mother, they honored her, and so, we talk about the motherland, we talk about resuscitating the mother when it comes down to the nationality and birthright. I'm just paying, I'm playing I want to say a sliver. I'm playing a sliver of the role of just imparting some of the knowledge I've come across and standing up. Whereas most of the time I sit down and I'm quiet and I'm, a little bit more passive. I become a little bit more passionate also in knowing that the society has the boot on the Morbitus's neck. And even some of our men, not just the Europeans, and how they've treating us as a people, as a nation, but even some of the dirty deeds, misinformation, continuation. We talk about continuation of subjugation. Like we say that the United States is a continuation of the subjugation of those sovereign states that were on our land and that subdued the Moors. We're talking about a continuation of the subjugation that goes on with our brothers. Whether you're in the Moor Science Temple, I've seen it. Whether in Moors in different situations of teaching or whatever, I've seen it. So I would just drop that seed of awareness to you. Take a look at yourself. See how significant women have been in the society, in your group. If the women are not there, I can assure you it's not because we don't want to be there. I can assure you that it is your ways that you are not addressing, that it is a reflection of the patriarch society. Once again, we get it, that it's ingrained. And until you go internally and work on oneself, you will not have very many women stepping up. Because the women, I spoke to an elder about 2 years ago, and she stated, I do not want to work with men. I can't. My hands are up. I just don't want to do it anymore. So now women are running away from men. People talk about why women want to be single. Who wants to be single? It's a beautiful thing to be married. Trust me. When I was, it was great. We don't seek out just to be single. If the connection is there, it's there. But when a connection is not there, or in some people cases, they've gone across several relationships. They just want to live good in peace and harmony. And that's what we want. But nothing is wrong with being single and nothing is wrong with being unified. But when it comes down to this Moorish movement, we need all hands on deck. We don't need little things separating us and splitting the energy. We need the energy juntos. We need the energy together. So I'm just saying is that, if you are more biased, take a look at yourself, see how you may be able to adjust yourself if it comes down to working with people that you can't work with. Somebody drops you a message, hey, just too stern, or you're just too this. Don't take an offense to it. Look and see how, I want to be a family. I want to get this Moorish movement risen up. I don't want to keep fracturing. Noble Drew Ali's time, fracture. See Kirkman Bay, fracture. Moorish Temple of America today, fracture. Everybody's fracturing. It's like, what are all these fracture lines? These are like battle scars. Do we need to battle or do we need to move with love? So on that,
I gotta say something, Sister Picola. Until we get out of square apartments and square houses and putting cell phone protection, because we are actually programmed like the movie called Cell. People are not. I remember hearing one sister say she was in Bed-Stuy thinking peacefully until she cut around a corner that they had cell phone towers, and she started thinking all this evil thoughts about herself and about others. So until people take the time to get into the sacred geometry and realize that cell phone also has an undertone program that's diabolically placed there in ethnic neighborhoods, until we come to terms with that and have our crystal sisters have crystals around their waistline and brothers have crystals around their heart, then we're going to have problems like this. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for that input. And you're absolutely right. And right on my phone, I have the energy protection, and usually around my neck. My necklace is somewhere. I usually have that as well. I want to say that I've been turned on to the knowledge of the intrusive information highway that goes on around you. I was turned on to that in 2004. So since 2004, coming into New York, one of the scientists that I knew turned me on to utilizing those things. And in fact, I use earplugs because I can concentrate. I use one earplug because information is, for whatever reason, is chaotic. It can be very quiet, but in my head, it's like they say, the monkey mind. Your mind is always flipping, always flipping, always flipping, always flipping. And it's that chaoticness that you're speaking about. That is why, first and foremost, that peace be still comment that I made from the alpha gene, makes sense. Is that, taking heed of some of the knowledge. You can read the book forevermore, but when what they say, learn how to drive by getting in the driver's seat and practicing that this works. But just to be in the book to learn, it doesn't work. We all need to get out of the books, if you will, the books of life, whether it's the just distractions of life, figuratively speaking, the books of life. Get out of the distractions and with all the gadgets and stuff like that, and get down to basic communication. But again, we have different upbringings. We had different societies. I mean, we had different so-called tribes way back in the day, because obviously, it took something to happen on the land for 5 civilized tribes to have to get together. I mean, why weren't the tribes together to begin with? Why wasn't the government together to begin with? It taken an imminent threat to just get together. So in speaking of that, the Shem Malachi Bay Plan, and this is and I know we're going to an end here, but we had, what I would like to believe is a successful political unity conference that went off in Philadelphia. We have another political unity conference that is going to be spearheaded by Sister Nee Moore and the ladies and the other Moors that are in Michigan and the Detroit area. We're going to support that and help to raise the consciousness of the people. And I understand that the Michigan crew is moving forward with a lot of good things. They have, again, I'm going to say it as a point of interest, but a point of respect. We all come to the table bringing what we bring. But if you're honest and true to political unity, you will respect who's coming to the table. We set the boundaries of being at the table. But unity has to be the imminent thought. We knew way back in the day, different tribes, we still have to honor and respect what the different regions were doing, but yet keep in mind the political unity aspect of it. So in essence, I'm excited. I hear that there are groups of body politics that have pieced away from a different leadership and that want to come on board and be in support of the Shem Malachi Bay Plan. In fact, they have been, but it was up under a different proposed leader of the Shem Malachi Bay Plan. And so I'm excited for other regions, other territories to start waking up your people. The leadership need to step up. Yes, we need to be politically accurate, politically legitimate when we're developing these governments and reaching out to the people. We need the consent of the people in order to make the government what it needs to be at. These governments are provisional governments, temporary governments, and they're local. They're local to your own status.
up under the Shem Malachi Bay plan, the different regions, the different body politics, which are governing their territories, are willing to come together and to sit at the table up under a new constitution or confederacy, which is known as I believe it's called the Liberty Treaties, in order to now establish the beginning provisional government that will interface with the international community on the offenses that have been going on this land dealing with the Moors. So again, we're yay close to getting a provisional government. We don't want to blow it because of our differences. We have the perfect example of differences. And that perfect example is that same Kofa bird thing that people like to talk about, looking back. Look back now. Look back now and see. See how things fractured up. See the reason things fractured up. You might find that mother wasn't present. You might find that the feminine energy was not present. And if it was present, it was slightly trying to move from underneath the boots of the brothers. So I'm going to say, help mother be back in her place so she can help govern. When I came into the Moorish science, I used to hear some of the Morbiduses be very harsh. I thought they were very, very harsh on the brothers. The comments, I thought it was very harsh. Me not knowing the history. Me not knowing that you keep coddling a man ain't going to turn into a man ain't going to be a boy in a man's body. So I didn't understand all of that. So I distanced myself away from that. And I thought that that was just a bit much with trying to talk about unity. But sometimes the harsh truth has to be told so that people can shake things off. You know, shake off the old scales. Take the scales, what they say, take the scales away from the eyes so that you can identify what is really before you. So I'm just saying is that our unity, whether we're talking about political unity is bringing the people together. The people themselves must be whole. The people themselves must be whole and not marching, not moving according to competitiveness, not moving according to ego. Women can be warriors too. Look back in history. You heard about the Amazons? We can be that if we want that. But we know that that is not required all the time to be in our feminine energy and to be able to still make progress. So I'm just saying, I spent 8 years active duty military. I always say that just to be laughing about it because I never thought I would follow my grandfather and my brothers who went to the military. So I can move like a soldier when I want to. And I can be wise as a dove like I want to. So I'm just saying, work with the women and the women will work with you. Allow space. Allow a gap. Be patient. And she will come and fill the gap. But if you leave the gap and close it like a clam so fast, she won't get an opportunity to step up to be able to assist. That's everywhere. It's not in a particular situation. I'm just giving a download of what I'm given. That's all. I'm just giving the insight. But I heard the elders talk about they do not want to work with men because men have just been too overbearing. And is that not reflective of the society in which we all had to grow up in? So much love for the Moors that are trying to work in political unity and respecting that the matriarch has a position and have a place. And that if you find yourself in the head, you might want to look left and right and maybe look behind you. She might be behind you. Not that men can't be leaders. Of course they can. I'm just saying, allow some balance. Putting a matriarch. Anybody that came to the Political Unity Conference, you saw maybe some symbolisms. And those symbolisms was what came to me as being needed. On the main table, I had the purple and the gold. The purple is a royal return of the collapsed Moroccan Empire. A royal return. The gold was symbol of leadership and a return also. But on the table, I had a scale. I didn't get a chance to find the feather, but I had the scale showing balance, representing the female principle. I also had a crown showing symbolisms that the crown is kind of tilted a little bit off balance, laying on a scale. And then I showed the gavel and the judge's gavel, showing that you won't get justice. You won't get justice unless you put mother back in her place. Putting mother back in her place is respecting nature, the first mother. They know for a fact scientifically that the so-called melanated woman carries the gene of every society or every race, or I should say every nationality, if you will, of people. So don't just dismiss her role. Don't dismiss. Scientifically, don't dismiss her role. That's meaningful. That means something. Again, it's the importance. No one wants to come and rule over you. You want to come and create balance. So.
Okay, hold your thoughts, sister. We got to get off this platform and
Yes,
start up the next show, which is all about what you're talking about. I want to thank you, Abdullah El Taib Moshi Bey, for having this appetizer for the sisters happening at 9 p.m. and it's 9 o'clock. So let's flip the script. Islam, sister, thank you, audience.
Peace and love, brother.
We're going to start it right now.
All right, on this platform. All right. We're still live. I got to send you the other link.